Look, man, episode 336. We don't really have a lot to get into, but the WWE draft did happen over these past few shows, starting on SmackDown and Raw. And I just want to know, is it time to like be done with the draft?
No. Here's my thing with the draft. They should have waited until after all these or at least a week before all these brands change networks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the problem with the draft happening now is that it seems to me that all the people that are on the shows are who the networks want to be on those shows. So Netflix is like, yo, we need so and so. And where's SmackDown going? Is it USA Network? Yeah, so USA Network is like, yo, we know that so and so gets these numbers. This is who we need if we're gonna continue and shit like that. Because for the most part, most people stayed where they were already, so nothing really changed. It was just a formality of announcing, yo, this is where they are. But it really, yeah, look, round one, Bianca Belair, Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Seth Rollins. I mean, it is what it is. But also, there's no logic in this because why are you drafting somebody who just got surgery?
Um, yeah. The reason why I say like it's man, that was boring. That made for a boring show. You know what I'm saying? Like the only excitement was the NXT call up, so everybody wants to know who's going to be called up to the main roster. Other than that, like that's not good television. Is like as you said, because like majority of the people didn't they stayed exactly where they was at. Y'all could have just made some like trades or some shit and
Mm.
called it a day. Like this is taking up TV time. Like I'm pretty sure like the people that was there, that wasn't a good show for them to sit through either. Like I don't want to see this shit. Like you know what I'm saying? And for us at home, I was bored out my mind. It's just like, all right.
Yeah.
I was in the chat. I was just heavy complaining in the chat. I was like, man, what the fuck? Because these are all niggas that we already seen get called up and just stay on the same brand. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, man, like, especially like y'all built the draft and marketed the draft as this big thing. You know what I'm saying? Rallied the excitement around it. It was all right, cool. Like, draft coming around. Mania was a success. We about to see, you feel me, what's going on. Y'all had the rules. It was like, all right, champions are staying in one place. They're not
Mm.
going nowhere. Cool. All right, fine. The rules are the rules. Cool. But then you just, it's not even, I can't even call it a draft. It's just, bro, you just picked the same niggas, like the people that was already on the show. It was like, all right, this person, I've been seeing Carmelo Hayes on SmackDown for like 4 months. It's like, all right, Carmelo Hayes drafted to SmackDown. Like, bro, where the fuck else was he gonna go? You know what I'm saying?
At, at least I feel like next year there's more options. Like, yo, imagine like leading up into the draft, like they announced the draft a month ahead of time or some shit like that. And they don't even have to be the real people, but they have like sit-ins of USA Network executives and Netflix executives. So it seems like, these are each brand is legit a team, and people from the higher ups are influencing decisions. Because you know how like sometimes they have like the draft rooms and shit like that to make it seem like the NFL draft. Like, make it seem like there's an influence. Because it's like, bro,
they had
yeah,
the
what happened?
they had the war room. They did the thing with the war rooms and all
No,
that.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, the war room makes no sense when, bro, you're just the general manager of the brand. Like,
Mm.
who's your boss? Nobody really knows. There's no like head figure. Like Triple H is the assumed boss, but if he's the boss of both networks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes no sense. Like, why he would split brands up, in a logical sense. But if they had people sitting in like, yo, these are the next Netflix executives and they're scouting these wrestlers and shit like that, At least that makes sense from a storyline perspective, where it can be engaging and shit like that, where you have people in.
Like shit that made no sense to me is like it's a couple things. Like niggas had shitty niggas going before like Drew McIntyre and like AJ Styles the number one contender, and y'all picking like
Fourth round.
yeah, like y'all
What is it?
putting taking LWO ahead of like Drew McIntyre or some shit. Like fam, like that didn't make
part of LWO and he just backstabbed niggas in LWO. I'm like, man, what is happening here, bro?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like that. I know what else I'm about to say. Oh, like the shit with the free agent things. Like they made a big deal out of the Braun Breaker signing like the SmackDown. This nigga was drafted to Raw like just like a month later. Like fam, you niggas made all of these segments surrounding like, oh, we got to get Braun, and they fighting over him, all for this nigga to leave like fucking weeks later. It's like fam, like what are we doing here? Y'all could have they could have put something in store to where like they couldn't be touched or whatever. Like y'all niggas just got Jade and these niggas, and they could have just easily took them and stuff like that. And it's just like for me, the draft is like this wasn't it for me, and that's why I came in like straight off. I just wanted to know up top, like, is it time to get rid of this shit? Because this wasn't it for me.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Well, a couple of the NXT call ups: Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker, Kiana James, Corbin went back to SmackDown. Ilya Dragunov, Lyra Valkyria, Blair Davenport, Dijak, all leaving NXT, going to the main roster. So shots out.
Dijak is going to where? Was it SmackDown or Raw? Or...
Dijak and Gunther? Yeah.
Man, Dijak is a good pick right there.
Yeah,
Raw definitely won this draft. But the thing about that too is like, bro, I don't think we would be feeling this way if the old guard was still in the WWE, because Dijak was already on the main roster, and we saw how that went down. But now that we have Triple H steering the boat, we're hopeful for these people. We're like, wow, we're about to get.
That wasn't Dijak. That was T-Ball, my nigga.
Word.
I don't know who. This our first time seeing Dijak.
T-Bar. First name Terrence. Last name Bar.
T-Bar.
Terrence Bar.
Damn, what was the name of that group? Jodeci?
All right, son.
Oh, that nigga T-Bars, nigga.
Relax. Relax.
But yeah, nah, that I like that pick.
Listening to the Black and Out table.
I like your guys' style.